What's that?
Oh, we're doing the Jimmy Buffett episode, so I thought, we're trying to do more props. I brought a parrot.
You mean the demon spawn?
Potato, potato.
Put that thing back where it came from.
Or so help you.
So help me.
I'm just gonna cry. Hi, Penny.
That dude.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Cheers.
Sláinte.
My thing.
Prost.
What's the Caribbean?
Oh boy.
Hang 10?
No, hang on. Because now we got to do it. Caribbean cheers. Well, why don't you introduce the people to the topic while I look this up? Or, Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. In case you
are just joining us for the first time, my name is Andrew.
And I'm Josh.
And this is What If We?
Our weekly podcast hosted by Duke and Altoum Media Company, where we ask the question, what if we?
Because all great stories start with what if we?
And all great stories, all great topics, all great conversations.
Yeah.
And so this week, this is actually a bit of a special episode.
Near and dear to our hearts.
So we're going to call this the What If We Jimmy Buffett special.
Yeah. What if we remembered Jimmy Buffett?
What if we memorialized Jimmy Buffett?
Absolutely.
What if we eulogized this man?
This legend.
So Jamaican for cheers. Spanish have salud. Italians chin chin. Caribbean cheers. Come on.
We should have been more prepared.
But
in honor of Jimmy Buffett, we've made frozen margaritas.
We're just gonna go with the cheers.
Yeah, I like cheers. Cheers, man.
Salud. Salud.
Come on.
Since the Spanish would have conquered those islands.
True.
But we are drinking the only drink which should be drunk on the day of Jimmy Buffett's memorial, except for maybe his favorite drink. You know what it is?
Jalapeno margarita?
No, I think it's actually a tequila sunrise.
Well, he also, in the song We Are the People, he says he loves Cajun martinis.
We are drinking a margarita.
Frozen blue margarita.
Frozen blue margaritas. I added a little bit of a sour blue raspberry beer to mine, so it tastes like a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher.
But how you been?
Good. I mean, so this is like one of our batch episodes.
Yep.
So
this will come out 2 days before his memorial, but we're recording it.
Yeah, it'll come out the same weekend of Memorial Day weekend, which is a year from when he passed. But we just got done yesterday recording the drinks episode.
Yep, which hope you enjoyed that
episode. So if you enjoyed that, feel free to let us know.
Yep.
Quick state of the pod.
It's a little soon for a state of the pod.
It's been 4 weeks. It's been 4 weeks since the most recent state of the pod. By the time this episode comes out.
This is episode 8. Oh, yeah, it is. Shoot.
Nothing new. Just
nothing really new. We're increasing slightly our active listeners.
We are trying to.
So we really appreciate all of you who have been recurrent listeners.
Yes.
Give yourself a little pat on the back.
Thank you. But we wanna continue to do stuff like this. I was checking our emails this morning. We got an email from a podcasting marketing company. That was like, most podcasts don't make it past 4 episodes, so congrats.
Nice.
So, we want to keep making this stuff just for our own enjoyment.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of like a Saint's Diary for us.
Yeah.
In that when we are called to see if we should be canonized and they find out we're not, this will be one of the evidences.
For why we're not.
For why we're not saints.
It's like when they find the group chat texts.
Like when they find the group chat text. But yeah, no, I've been good. Went to mass this morning. Went to breakfast.
Yep.
Saw Brendan. Found your cutting board. Found your cookie sheets and knives.
We finally got all of the crap into our house because Michelle had 2 things in her car for the past month and a half.
Shout out Michelle.
I don't know if we should shout her out. She just kept her crap in her car.
We said her name. We should shout her out.
Yeah,
shout
sure.
out Michelle.
But yeah, we found out all the stuff. I'd say we're like 60% unpacked.
Nice. Yeah. No, it looks good.
We're coming along. Hopefully by next time you're down here, will it be?
I mean, that might be like 2 weeks.
Yeah. By then we should be pretty much unpacked completely, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, but same thing. Reason why we do batch episodes is we'd rather do this in person.
Yeah.
We'd rather.
And it's impractical for us to do it every week.
And we like to hang out with each other.
Yep. Celebrated Brendan's birthday yesterday.
Celebrated our friend's birthday yesterday, Brendan. Shout out Brendan.
Yep. Who somehow heard steak and is like, oh yeah, steak, fries, and burgers.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Anyway,
I'm disappointed we didn't get steak, but I'm happy with the food we got.
yep. And now we'll have it for another time. Now we have the cutting board or the cookie sheets and knives and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
So, what if we talked about Jimmy Buffett and memorialized him?
What if we talked about Jimmy Buffett? So we actually have a eulogy here, or obituary.
You wrote it. You should read it.
Yeah. To James Williams Buffett. James William Buffett was born on December 25th, 1946. And outside of Christ, he is the greatest Christmas present we have ever received.
Amen.
James, more commonly known as Jimmy, was known for his island escapism lifestyle and music. Some of his greatest hits include songs like Margaritaville, Cheeseburger in Paradise, Brown Eyed Girl, and It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere. James passed from this life to the big Margaritaville in the sky on September 1st, 2023, the Friday of Labor Day weekend.
He died, he died on Memorial Day weekend, and so we could party hard in his memory
for one more day.
One more day.
To James.
To James.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You got it done yourself. But yeah.
So, Jimmy Buffett has a special place in my heart, my family's heart, but my heart especially, because technically speaking, he was my first concert. I was in my mom's womb when she went to a Jimmy
your
Buffett
parents
concert.
were parrot heads.
My dad is a parrot head. My dad's a massive parrot head.
But your mom went with him.
My mom went with him because she loves him. She loves my dad. But I was in the womb during that concert. So technically my first concert was in fact Jimmy Buffett.
Is that where your love of Hawaiian shirts comes from?
No, my love of Hawaiian shirts comes from Tom Selleck in Magnum PI. But Jimmy Buffett probably...
That'll be a sad day for you.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to put that out there.
I might not see you after that.
We're not going to talk about Tom Selleck because today's about Jimmy.
Yeah.
But no, my family loves Jimmy Buffett overall. When we were growing up, we each kind of had our own song that we liked from him, just like Elvis. Elvis and Jimmy Buffett were very similar in my family as far as, like, there was a great
cultural
respect.
Icons. Yeah.
Yes, cultural icon. Like, for me, Cheeseburger in Paradise was the first song that I knew all the words to. Like I said, my dad, huge parrot head. When he found out that my mother-in-law had she had a macaw, he was like, he wanted to go see Vincent. Unfortunately, Vincent has passed as well.
Rest in peace, Vincent.
Rest in peace, Vincent. But I get to kind of, we have Penny, who's a conure, so almost kind of a parrot.
You can't see the side eye, and you're an audio listener. Penny and I have a tenuous relationship.
We all have a tenuous relationship with Penny.
No, Miriam does not. Brendan does not. Just me and you.
Most people do. How about that? But no, I love Jimmy Buffett's music. The island escapism. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
What is your experience with the Buffett?
So this is interesting because like the Jimmy Buffett style of music, you can throw in like folks like Alan Jackson, Kenny Chesney, Zac Brown Band, kind of that whole style of music.
I think he really was the pioneer for that group.
Yeah, but all four, like that four cadre, I would say you probably could think of other people.
I mean, he's done duets with all of those that you mentioned.
He's also been with George Strait, who I'm a big George Strait fan. I grew up listening to country music. I mean, that was predominantly what was played in my house. Like, my mom worked for a classic rock station, but when we were driving home, it was, country music all the way. So hearing songs like It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere or Margaritaville and things like that, that was just kind of commonplace in but like the connection to Jimmy Buffett really didn't I don't know. I've never been somebody who's listened to music and been know the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, this is a good song. And so when I got to know you and stuff like that, that's really when oh, Jimmy Buffett, yeah. And he's just good. I love that whole. I'm not a beach person by any means. I actually hate the beach.
Yep.
I hate that it's sticky, wet.
You don't like sand.
It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
Of course, it's irritating. It gets everywhere.
But I like the idea of getting a boat one day, and a good portion of my extended family, they have places on the sea, out near the ocean in Texas. They go fishing, things like that. I grew up wearing fishing shirts, Magellan fishing shirts and stuff like that. So the idea, it's very not alien to my culture growing up, but it wasn't something that my family took a huge role in. But it was kind of like, oh yeah, no, I had, you know, I spent a summer selling children's educational materials door to door,
Mhm.
books door to door. Sucked. One of the worst summers of my life. Um, but I lived with this family, and the dad had a proclivity for making hamburgers with pineapple wrapped in bacon,
Mm,
a cheeseburger in paradise. Still some of the best food I've ever had.
yeah.
Like that whole idea, like cheeseburger in paradise, at various weddings, especially in Texas, things like Margaritaville have their own words,
Hmm.
and things like that. I obviously bought you the Margaritaville Crocs, which you are wearing today.
Yep.
So,
For
like,
for those of you who are just audio, you're missing out on
on the
more.
glory of the Crocs. If you're not crocking, you
You ain't
ain't
rocking.
rocking. And maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the Crocs later on. But yeah, I mean, Margaritaville is probably the song that sticks out to me the most.
It is
With
the
Jimmy Buffett.
quintessential
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett song.
Um,
It spawned his restaurants.
Yeah.
There's a margarita, like people say I'm in a Margaritaville state of mind. Like it's quintessential of it really epitomizes the idea of it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Like
Yeah.
there's never a bad time for a margarita.
No. There
Which
never
I
is.
pretty firmly stand by.
No, that's fair. But yeah, I mean the whole idea of like I want to buy a boat someday, and like
I would love to have a boat. My parents really want my brother to get a boat, like a lake house. Like we'll take care of the lake house for you when you're not around. We love being on the water. My Uncle Bob has.
your brother who's a priest.
He's also very good at saving.
Okay.
But he did not take a vow of poverty. That's Stephen.
Interesting.
And technically seems as a promise of poverty. But anyways, but like my Uncle Bob, he has a boat, and he loves to take us out of the boat, just do a tour of he lives right by Sandusky with our lake house. So, drive by Cedar Point, go fit. Like Matthew and I love to go fishing with him. I haven't gotten to go this summer. But last summer we went. It's so much fun. Like the lake, the island, ocean vibes, just living for the sake of living.
Yeah, Jimmy Buffett epitomizes what it means to go deeper. I feel like because he sold himself on that lifestyle.
Yes, that became his entire
brand.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that when he's had appearances in like media and film, perhaps the most iconic one that I can think of is Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World, yep.
Jurassic World.
Yep, where he's running from the dinosaurs with the two fists in the
Yeah, if you
margarita.
didn't know, that's Jimmy Buffett.
He was in an episode of Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
But-
Hawaii Five-0.
Yep.
CSI Miami.
Yep. He's just been in so many things. Hoot. Did you ever see
I
the
did
movie
not.
Hoot?
Wait, is that the one with the owls?
Yeah.
He was in that?
Yeah, he was in it, and I think he was a producer on it too.
Interesting.
But it was the thing I love about him is the idea of, and this is something I really respond to, is we live in such a busy world. People say if you're not doing stuff constantly, you're wasting time, and I think that is such a dangerous, almost not dangerous might not even be the right word, but it's such a wrong way to live. Like, sure, obviously you want to be productive, you want to do things that are meaningful, but sometimes there's no greater meaningful thing that you can do than to simply exist and enjoy the creation that God has given us.
Busyness for the sake of being busy is ridiculous.
I agree.
We have to take time to enjoy leisure, because like there's this really good book. I think you'd enjoy it. It's a philosophic work, but I think it fits into this. It's by a writer named Joseph Pieper.
Mhm.
Leisure, the basis of culture.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this book
I think you
before.
have.
I've tried reading it a few times, and every time I get through it, I'm like, I just got to sit with this for like 4 weeks, and then I put it down and start reading something else.
Mhm.
But in it, his premise is that leisure, like taking time away from whatever your work is, to enjoy creation, to sit back and contemplate, that is the basis for which all of culture is founded upon.
Mhm.
Culture is not founded upon what you do for work. Culture is founded upon what you do when you are not at work.
Mhm.
Which is why, like, Sunday is a day of rest. For Catholics, like, it's not a day when we do work. It's a day when we try to rest and to have leisure and to think about maybe what's coming up in the week. You
Yeah.
have to do that. But think about, like, what has my week been like? How have I lived this week? How is God calling me to live? That's why we go to church on Sundays. That's why we do all these things. And it's like, Jimmy Buffett, whether he was a Catholic.
He was
He was not practicing later on in life, but he grew up as a Catholic.
in the same in that first song I mentioned, "We Are the People," he talked about how he was supposed to have been a Jesuit priest or a
Yeah.
Naval Academy grad.
Yeah, you know, and he kind of epitomizes this idea of like leisure being the basis of culture because he took leisure to be his job as well.
Which I think is such an interesting thing because I think that's starting to come back in style as far as if you look at what people are looking for these days in like out of life, um, like content creation. Content creation is for some people is their full time job,
For us,
and
it's leisure.
but it for some people, for some people, it's for us it's leisure. For some people who are in content creation, they've managed to make it in a way that is fun. And they'll say, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's become for them. They're like, I'm just doing what I love, and I'm getting paid to do it. Whether it's playing video games, just making general content,
Teaching. I mean, there are people who find fulfillment in their day-to-day jobs. My brother, he likes construction. He enjoys what he does.
Yep, I wrote my my thoughts and musings about that. But I think he really epitomizes the idea of like he loved what he did, and I don't think he ever did stuff that he didn't want to do. And he had such a wide variety. Like you mentioned, like the book that you're reading, he was a best-selling author. He wrote 3 bestsellers.
Yep.
He was in those different movies and TV shows, but music was really what he loved. He fell in love with music. He talks about it in his songs, in his interviews, how once he learned how to play guitar, that's what really that's where he felt peace and happiness and just what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it ended up working out financially speaking for him. I mean,
yeah, he was valued at his.
He was a net worth billionaire.
Yep, between his books, his music, his Margaritaville restaurants, and
his
everything.
Retirement homes.
Yeah, everything. He was worth over $1 billion, which there are not that many artists who can say that.
And and it's unfortunate is that probably his lifestyle, him enjoying the sun, did end up leading to his death.
Yes, which is a real tragedy.
Yeah.
Taken from him far too soon.
I mean, he was what, 80?
You couldn't have been that old.
He died in 2023. He was born in 1946.
So late 70s.
Yeah, late 70s, early 80s. I mean,
still too soon.
Our current president is older than him.
Yeah.
But
what I mean to say is, like I said, when Jimmy Buffett, when I found out that Jimmy Buffett had passed.
Yeah. Where were you?
I was at home.
Did I text you? Was I the one that texted you?
You texted me like 2 minutes after I found out, and I was like, I was crushed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you were devastated.
Yeah, we went out to play disc golf and have margaritas.
Okay, so we both found this out
early on the day of, or the day after.
This was on the because he passed away on a Friday.
Yep. So it was that Saturday.
We played disc golf on that Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
School on Sunday. Maybe we played on Monday actually.
I don't know. It was before we saw my parents, but it doesn't matter. The point is, when we found out I need a margarita.
Well, we said, where's the nearest Margaritaville?
And we saw it, and it was in Columbus, I believe.
And we were like,
what's the next best option?
What's the next best option?
So
Frickers, which is a wing place. I'm not saying a bad word. Yep. I'm just naming the place of a restaurant.
Yep. Choose your frickin' sauce, as they say.
Choose your frickin' sauce.
But they have decent margaritas there, so it was halfway between Jackson and...
Yeah, halfway between where I was living and where y'all were living.
Yep. So we met up, we played some disc golf, and then we had some margaritas and wings.
Yeah, we just remembered Jimmy Buffett for who he was.
Yep.
And who he will forever remain.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about his music.
Yeah, so what's your favorite song from him? I kind of mentioned mine.
So for me, like growing up, Cheeseburger in Paradise was...
It's iconic.
It's iconic. It was the song that I associated mostly with him. It was the first song that I knew all the words to. I love it. If I had to pick my favorite one that's just him, not including like duets or anything like that, I would probably go with We Are the People Our Parents Warned Us About. My dad used that for our Philmont slideshow. Margaritaville is iconic. It is.
Yeah, Margaritaville is definitely mine.
It is so iconic. I love it. I think We Are the People just edges it out because I like the pace of it a little bit more. It's a little bit more upbeat. But Margaritaville, Cheeseburger, I don't think there's any ones that
Changes in Attitude, Changes in Latitude.
I love that one.
Great song. Brown Eyed Girl.
Brown Eyed Girl. I prefer it to the original. Van Morrison was good, but this one I vastly prefer.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's a bop.
Absolutely. Have you heard the stand-up bit about it?
Yeah.
It is if you haven't listened to it, I don't remember the name of the comedian who does it, but he does a bit about. He's like, I'm gonna break down "It's 5 O'clock Somewhere" for you by Alan Jackson, and you're gonna go on this journey with me about why this song makes no sense, and it doesn't have to make sense because Jimmy Buffett and Alan Jackson. But I thoroughly enjoy that one. License to Chill with
License to Chill
Kenny
is good.
Chesney.
Yep. You had
Knee Deep with Zach Brown Band.
Knee Deep. Knee Deep is great. But there's just so many songs that are good. If I had to pick one, it's probably Margaritaville with a close second for Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Okay.
Margaritaville was kind of the song for Jimmy Buffett that I grew up on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was his number one hit.
Yeah.
And I think that is the song that he is most known for.
I do think at some point we need to make it out to an actual Margaritaville
I think we definitely should
next year.
Next year. Because on our honeymoon, we stopped in the airport that we stopped at for our layover. There was a Margaritaville in there, but our connection was just a little too close for us to be able to go to it. It really made me sad.
So tell me about the Crocs.
So the Crocs, these were a Christmas gift from you from last year. I love that they actually say that, like, they're not just like Jimmy Buffett themed. They literally say Margaritaville on the side where
they're Margaritaville branded Crocs.
Yep. You got the shot glass, you got the lime. I found the lost shaker of salt. Jimmy, it's right here on my Croc. The ice cubes, the umbrella. They're a little oversized, but they're just so comfy.
They are.
I haven't been a Croc person since like 5th grade.
Not Croc, name Rock.
But I do dig these.
Those are definitely not walking around Crocs.
No, these are sitting down on a boat Crocs.
Sitting down on a boat, maybe on a pier.
Maybe on a pier.
Fishing.
But no, I love these.
Yeah.
These are super comfortable.
Yeah, they're like $50. You can still buy them online.
Yep. These are probably collector's items now that Jimmy's passed.
Don't you sell them?
I'm never gonna sell them.
Don't you sell them?
No, never gonna happen. I'm saying, like, someone's looking for them. They're probably gonna be more. There might be more.
Don't go and sell them. But yeah, I mean, this is probably a shorter episode. This is more of a chill, relaxed episode.
Yep.
We just wanted to take the time to think about something that is both near and dear to our hearts. Why we talk about this, like on an episode like this? I mean, from a Catholic perspective, there is an eternal perspective we have about people's life here, and whether or not Jimmy Buffett is reconciled with his Savior Jesus Christ before his death or not.
Who are we to say?
Who are we to know? That's between him and the Lord. I would like to think that he was given an opportunity in his last moments, and that he lived a lifestyle of trying to seek the truth in all things.
Yeah, and I think for him, the specific aspect of the truth he was trying to find was, does life have to be a drag and a grind all the time? And I think he found the truth to be, no, it doesn't have to be.
No, you can live a life full of meaning and purpose, and it's not necessarily rooted in a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Which is something, a lesson for us all to take.
Absolutely.
And then there's just this perspective of, like, it's good every once in a while to just sit back, have a more relaxed conversation, enjoy thinking about someone's memory, whether it's a friend, family member, celebrity.
Yep.
There is people, I will say this, who obsess too much about celebrity deaths. Like, this was probably the first one that hit me in a way where I was like, okay. Like, other people are like, oh man, when who was the other big one?
Bob Saget was last year.
Betty White. Betty White. People talked about Betty White dying, and people were crying and hysterical. I was like, I don't get it. Or Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
Didn't get it. I was like, I don't know. I never had a connection with them, but when
but some people did have that kind of connection.
Yeah, but now I kind of get it. I mean, I think it's still weird to like sob and wail over it, especially like
if you didn't know them personally
on a social media platform. I think that's weird. But to have a sadness of like, oh man, this person was influential in the foundations of my life.
Yep.
That we are formed by everything we take in, good or bad, which is something to think about when we take in something. How is this forming me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I being formed in a positive direction or a negative direction? And so, like, when we lose something that has formed us in a positive way, which I think Jimmy Buffett has done for both of us in this life, it's right and proper and just to mourn that loss.
Yeah. And I think
in the same way you would mourn the loss of a parent, a pet, a grandparent, a family member.
I think the most important thing is, especially for someone that you know personally, like a celebrity, to not wallow in their loss, but to remember what the good that they brought into your life. And I think that goes without saying for everyone. But I think especially for like for Jimmy, We're dedicating an episode to him. We made some margaritas. We're just here enjoying life the way that he wants. Like he lived a life of leisure. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Enjoy life the way it is. I think that's exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah, everything doesn't have to be so serious all the time. Yeah. So with that,
our call to action this week:
pour it out for Jimmy.
Pour it out for the man. Make a margarita. We're not going to.
It's a waste. Jimmy Buffett wouldn't commit alcohol abuse, and neither should you.
Yes. But take some time, relax, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. From all of us here at Duke and Altum.
Yeah. Have a barbecue, have a cookout. Live like Jimmy.
Live like Jimmy.
Go buy a parrot hat, wear a parrot hat.
Yep.
If you want to be that kind of person.
I think my dad has a parrot club cover for his golf set.
That's great. That's great. Pour one out for Jimmy. Go and listen to his music. I mean, he has an extensive catalog.
It's massive.
I'm sure you will find something you like in it.
The ones that we suggested are all some of his
Greatest
top hits.
hits.
There's a reason for it. If you're looking for someone that's a little slower and sadder, he went to Paris, I think.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give some options for that aren't just the island vibe, the chill island vibes. He went to Paris, I think, is a really good one too.
Yep. So
read one of his books.
Read a book. I mean, yeah.
Just enjoy your Labor Day weekend the way that Jimmy would want you to.
Yeah, enjoy Labor Day weekend. Speaking of enjoying our Labor Day weekend and trying to live a more leisurely lifestyle,
I think we're going deeper the same way.
We're gonna take a day off.
We're taking a day off because we both work in ministry, different types of ministry, but ministry nonetheless.
And you rarely get days off in ministry.
Yep. If you say you're working 40 hours, you're working 50, 60, easy.
Very easily, especially in the busy seasons. So for most people, the busy season in ministry is this time of year.
Yep, beginning of the school year, and then during not Advent.
Which I have opinions about that we'll talk about at a different point.
But the busy seasons of the church are the busy seasons of ministry, and you have to take the time when you have the time to relax. And that's something. Again, we talked about this. Our culture is like, if you're not busy, you're not spending your time wisely.
So for me, starting here in the next couple of weeks. Once we get the first couple weeks down in the school year, I'm going to start taking Mondays off. I work Sundays, from noon till whenever. But, I'm going to start taking Mondays off to kind of rest, relax, recuperate Mondays and Saturdays. Try to make Saturdays a more prayerful day. But Mondays is just like a day to not necessarily veg out, because that's not leisure, but to just sit back, relax, think about life, enjoy the little things, enjoy creation, and all that stuff.
Nice. And for me, I'm moving from 20 hours to 30 hours with a raise, which is good. And I still want to make sure I'm using my time effectively at the parish. But like with my last Going Deeper, I was talking about being more intentional with my time. I want to make sure that I'm taking that time for myself as well. Yeah. Taking time to relax, because that way I have time to recharge my battery. So that way, when I'm with my wife, when I'm with my friends, when I'm at work, I can be my full self and be my best self for them. Yeah. So making sure to take that time for myself. Not going to be a consistent day each week, but it's going to be kind of making sure I'm being intentional with leisure.
You should have at least one day for leisure and one day for like a more prayerful atmosphere.
Yeah, I agree.
So, with that being said, thank you for joining us for this episode. TBD to what the next episode would be.
Yeah, we haven't
even discussed that.
We discussed some options. We're gonna you know what? We're gonna take some time, enjoy our marks, and we're gonna figure that out for you.
We'll figure that out.
Until next time,
don't forget to like, subscribe, share,
hit that notification bell
so you can be notified anytime when we drop a new episode.
And thank you so much for being part of our conversation.
And thank you for letting us be internet shells.
Yes, and remember, throw a comment and on the website, on YouTube, wherever.
Let us know what your favorite Jimmy Buffett song is,
or if you have a memory related to him. How are you living your parrot head life?
Live like Jimmy.
Live like Jimmy. Cheers. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.